Never one to blend into the crowd, The Miz is one of the most recognizable stars in WWE today. People love to hate him, which means he's doing something right as a heel. The former reality TV star successfully transitioned to a career in WWE and is currently the company's Intercontinental Champion. Due to multiple requests, this is Wrestling Origins The Miz. Michael Gregory Mizanin was born on October 8, 1980 in Parma, Ohio, a small town near Cleveland. Mike says that he's been a wrestling fan, and more specifically a WWE fan, his entire life, with one of his favorites being The Ultimate Warrior. Apparently, he would invite all his friends over and order pizza to watch every pay-per-view, and he'd often wrestle with his friends, and even worked on an evil stare in the mirror. While attending Normandy High School, Mike would be captain of the basketball team, play baseball, participate in swimming, and lead the cross-country running team as well. He was quite the athletic guy, as you can tell. Alongside his ventures in sports, Mike would also be president of the student council as well as an editor of the school's yearbook. I'm just going to take a guess and say Mizanin was one of the most popular guys in school. Mike says that back then, he was stuck in that small town mindset of graduating high school, going to college, getting a job, getting married, and having kids. With that in mind, he attended Miami University where he studied business. He would be part of a fraternity while going to school, but would soon learn that school wasn't really what he wanted to do. During his sophomore year at university, somebody suggested that Mike try out for MTV's The Real World, a reality show that puts a bunch of young adults in the same house to see what happens. Naturally, Mizanin got the shot and dropped out of college to appear on the show's 10th season in 2001. Contrary to what you may have thought, The Miz wasn't necessarily a presence created for WWE. Mike would debut this alter ego of his during an episode of The Real World, where instead of Mike's normal laid-back personality, The Miz was angry, belligerent, and arrogant. Sound familiar?
The Miz is a character I created. He's basically a wrestling star, and he's ready for the big leagues.
Mike would appear on not only that one season of The Real World, but multiple, as well as the spin-off series. One of the most notable moments on the show is when he told his roommate that his father wouldn't hire black people because they were less educated back where he's from. Understandably, people were pissed, and this quickly made Mike a bit of an outcast. In his defense though, he says he wasn't being racist, but just describing what he saw. After filming The Real World, Mike would return home, and after seeing an old action figure of The Rock on his dresser, he decided that he didn't have to return to college. He could do whatever he wanted. It was then and there he decided to pursue wrestling. Being the athletic guy he is, Mike quickly joined Ultimate Pro Wrestling, where he trained in the Ultimate University. He would train there, learning how to perform as a proper wrestler. He would make his in-ring debut in 2003 for UPW under the name of The Miz. He would make it to the finals of a UPW tournament before losing. If it wasn't clear before, The Miz was the same cocky, arrogant persona that was first developed for reality TV. In October of 2004, Mike The Miz Mizanin entered the 4th season of WWE's Tough Enough, a competition where the winner would get $1 million along with a WWE contract. Mike would make it to the final round where he faced off against Daniel Puder in a Dixie dogfight, essentially a boxing match, though lost by decision. I'm not sure how scripted that was, but if it was real, props to Mike because Puder has real MMA experience. Puder would go on to win the competition, and by extension the contract, leaving Mike with nothing. Well, that would have been the case had WWE not taken a special interest in Mizanin, seeing potential in him and offering him a developmental contract. Of course, Mike accepted and was sent to Deep South Wrestling to train with Bill DeMott in Georgia. In 2005, Mike would wrestle 2 dark matches for WWE, but remained in Deep South for the majority of the time. He would notably defeat Mike Knox in the finals of a tournament to win the first ever Deep South Heavyweight Championship. In January of 2006, Mike was transferred over to Ohio Valley Wrestling, another developmental territory of WWE. Here, Mike would debut as Miz, where he did a few backstage TV segments before losing his first match to Rene Dupree by countout. In the next few months, Miz would win the OVW Southern Tag Team Championships with Chris Cage, but Cage would be legitimately fired by WWE, making them drop the titles in mid-March. Around the same time, WWE would begin airing vignettes to promote Mike's debut on SmackDown. When Mizanin was ready to debut on SmackDown in April, he was banned from the arena and escorted out as part of a storyline. He would return a few months later, though to host SmackDown in June of 2006, but his hosting duties were pretty lame. Luckily, Miz became involved with the Diva Search competition that year, where he could be a proper host alongside Ashley Mazzaro. After that ended, Mike would finally start wrestling on SmackDown. He would enjoy some success right out of the gate in the form of a winning streak, though to be fair, it wasn't an insane number of matches. He would defeat superstars like Matt Hardy, Funaki, and Scotty 2 Hotty, before eventually feuding with the Boogeyman, who ended the streak at Armageddon in 2006. After a short break from TV, The Miz would get his own interview segment called Miz TV, but it was short-lived, forcing a return to the ring. Once again, The Miz would enjoy success and rack up the wins before being squashed by Gene Snitsky. However, due to Snitsky's ruthless assault after the match, the referee awarded Miz the win. Soon after, The Miz was drafted to ECW in 2007 as part of the draft. He would make his debut in July, where he defeated Nunzio before debuting a new gimmick, calling himself Chick Magnet. His ECW career, however, was relatively short, as after he lost to CM Punk for the ECW Championship, he went back over to SmackDown. Starting near the end of 2007, The Miz would begin teaming with John Morrison, and they would quickly become the WWE Tag Team Champions by defeating Matt Hardy and MVP, his first title in the company. The two would also get their own web show called The Dirt Sheet, where they mocked other wrestlers and pop culture. The two would make multiple successful title defenses before losing the championships to Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder at Great American Bash. After that, the two would feud with and beat Crime Time before once again winning the World Tag Team Championships, this time from Kofi Kingston and CM Punk. They would hold these until WrestleMania 25, where they lost them to Carlito and Primo. This would lead to Miz being drafted to Raw in 2009, after which he attacked Morrison to end their partnership. On Raw, The Miz would begin a feud with John Cena. After claiming a win over the injured Cena, John would return to defeat The Miz. This resulted in The Miz being fired in storyline. However, he would return under a mask with the name The Calgary Kid to win a contract after defeating Eugene. After revealing who he was, he would debut the skull-crushing finale on Eugene, as well as his "I'm awesome" catchphrase. After unsuccessfully challenging for the United States Championship 3 times, The Miz finally defeated Kofi Kingston to win the belt. After defeating his former partner John Morrison in a cross-brand match, he would lead his team against Morrison's at Survivor Series, winning again. In 2010, The Miz and MVP would begin a feud that was well received due to the pair's excellent verbal exchanges. Miz would defend his title against MVP before teaming up almost randomly with The Big Show to defeat DX and the Straight Edge Society, becoming the unified WWE Tag Team Champions in the process. This made Miz the first in WWE history to hold both tag titles, due to them being unified, and the US Championship at the same time. Next, The Miz would appear as Daniel Bryan's mentor as part of an NXT storyline that paired rookies with pros, which was hilarious because Bryan had way more experience than Miz did. At WrestleMania 26, Miz and Big Show would defend their titles, but lost them soon after to the Hart Dynasty, causing Big Show to knock out The Miz after the match. Miz would also lose his US title to Bret Hart, only to win it again a while later. Moving forward, The Miz would win the Money in the Bank ladder match for a shot at the WWE Championship while still holding his US title. However, his former protege Daniel Bryan would eventually defeat him for his championship at Night of Champions. A few months later, Miz would finally cash in his contract to defeat Randy Orton to become WWE Champion. He would defend this title multiple times, beating out Orton, John Morrison, and even Jerry Lawler on 2 occasions. During his reign, him and John Cena would successfully win the WWE Tag Team Championships, but lost them the next night in their rematch with the Core, making their reign the shortest in history. Cena and Miz would feud again after this, with Miz coming out on top at WrestleMania 27 after interference from The Rock. However, he would finally drop the title to Cena at Extreme Rules, ending his reign at 160 days. After failing to win back the title and feuding with Alex Riley, The Miz would begin teaming up with R-Truth to form The Awesome Truth. The two would constantly interfere in each other's matches, and eventually would be fired by Triple H in September of 2011. Eventually, the two would be reinstated by John Laurinaitis and returned to Raw, where The Miz turned on Truth to end their alliance. In 2012, The Miz would return after a 2-month absence to win his first Intercontinental Championship at Raw 1000 from Christian, making him both a Triple Crown Champion and Grand Slam Champion. He would successfully defend this title 3 times before losing it to Kofi Kingston. After the loss to Kofi, The Miz somewhat turned face after confronting Paul Heyman and joining up with Mick Foley's team for Survivor Series. However, Good Guy Miz wasn't well received, with critics ripping the character apart. Anyways, after adopting the figure 4 leg lock as a signature move and losing repeatedly to Cesaro, Miz set his sights on the Intercontinental Championship. He would capture the title from Wade Barrett at WrestleMania 29, but lost it the next night. After taking some time off for the filming of the Marine 4, Miz returned to Raw as a heel, this time playing it up as an arrogant movie star. He would soon win the Intercontinental belt, but lost it to Ziggler in a rematch. After that, The Miz and Damien Sandow got together, with Mizdow, as he soon became known as, serving as his stunt double. The two would have a decent run together, with Mizdow helping Miz win the Intercontinental Championship again, as well as the WWE Tag Team Championships later on, which they would hold from Survivor Series to the end of the year. In February, however, Miz would fire Damien as a stunt double after Mizdow began to become more popular. Skipping forward a bit, The Miz would become a 5-time Intercontinental Champion with the help of his wife Maryse, who made her return to WWE. He defended his title multiple times after winning it, and took the belt with him after he was drafted to SmackDown as part of the 2016 WWE Draft. Since then, he has most notably feuded with Dolph Ziggler and lost his belt after 188 days, but regained it soon after and has defended it successfully since with the help of Maryse. And that was Wrestling Origins: The Miz. I know this was a long video, but you guys didn't seem to mind last time, so I decided not to cut out any information. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe for another episode of Wrestling Origins every Friday. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.